Why did you decide to start this? Where is your background?
So tech really is my background and a love of music.
So you're a frustrated musician?
I played a few things when I was younger, but I'm awful. Absolutely awful.
I never got to that place. I'm a frustrated musician. I have all these guitars I don't use, but I
still
love
am a frustrated musician.
But some of it for me was I had friends who were in bands, and I'd see. So I used to live in a town called Bournemouth on the south coast of the UK. Local band would play in a sort of music venue there, 200 people. They'd have a really good night. People buying T-shirts and CDs and all that kind of stuff off them. If they then went and played in the next town along, 30 miles away, they'd have 10 people come to see them, and that sucks. So hard to then. How do you grow? You've spent all this time growing an audience here. How do you then carry on to grow an audience here? But then you start to look at, well, okay, the night they're playing in that other town is actually you start to see that the audience comes to the band they know, and then they leave, and then they come a new audience for the next band who then leaves. So they're not the promoters in some ways that were putting some of those nights on. Caveat, not all promoters are like this, but some of them are just going, who's going to bring an audience, and not necessarily thinking about how it all connects together. So that, because the audience keeps leaving each time, isn't helping the artists get a new fan base.
It's kind of like feeding the algorithm, right?
Yeah.
On social media.
And then for me, as a fan of music, I did a contract for a year for another startup in Brighton, another town on the south coast, but that's a massive music part of the UK. And for my year there, I went to one gig, and that's basically because I had no idea what was going on, where any of the venues were, or anything at all. I'd walk past the local, just be properly English here, sort of fish and chip shop window, and there'd be lots of posters all over it. Some of them were out of date, some of them were upcoming. It was just so much noise, you couldn't take it all in. So that's kind of the things that really started pointing me towards this and going, there must be stuff that can be fixed, and technology can actually answer all of those questions and the problems.
So what I'm understanding is, if I'm a band and I'm going to play, like you say, you have a 200 people venue. So if I want to have a tour in 4 or 5 different cities, I have the tools to really promote in the same way, or find the right promoters on the cities I'm going to visit, and make so I can have 200 people in every venue, or not? Like, is that? I'm just throwing some questions out there.
So, do you want to answer that one?
Joy, you can if you want. I don't mind.
No, I think part of this is because Amplead is going to be, hopefully that part of it is that it becomes a community. So at that level, when you're looking at small venues at 200 cap, you're looking at the grassroots artists. So with those artists, you usually find that they'll have their local support of maybe 50 people. They can guarantee they can bring 50 people to their local gig. So hopefully we're building this community of artists within Amplead where they go, actually, why don't we love your music as another artist, come play at our venue. We can guarantee that we're going to have a room which is at least half full. And then we do a gig at your place, and
Interchange audience.
Interchange, absolutely. So
that's an awesome way to answer that question.
So
yes.
we
you
also
have the community of band,
Yeah.
and you can trade and say, I'm huge in Monterrey, you're big in Torreon, so I can have you as a guest and play together at my audience with 200 people, and you'll have me at your city for 200 people, and we can have some profit share in a certain way, some percentages, and you bring something new to your show, a new band that can feed it from a new audience that gives them the opportunity to hear them out, and vice versa.
Absolutely. I think artists have just got to, there is a barrier with that, because a lot of artists are scared to do that because they think, hold on, it's competitive and we've got to fight against the other artists. Actually, that's not really quite true.
That's a myth.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, so we also have a way of collecting a whole bunch of user behavior data. So we can see that as a fan of music, they go to see this type of music, or they'll travel this kind of distance to get there. So by bringing that data back in, we can take what Gavin says a stage further and say, well, maybe you two bands want to be introduced to each other. Yeah. So dating site for bands.
Tinder
basically.
for bands. Hey, that's interesting. So, so when you have venues as clients, and you can see how many tickets they sell for every concert, and you are a way to have information that feeds you, that say, hey, this band is having these people buy tickets, and average age or the average amount of money per ticket. Like all that stuff can really feed your platform to see and categorize every venue, every city, every band, and go as far as you want,
Yeah. So the big thing all about this platform is all about data.
Yeah.
It's how we utilize the data in the background to power each of those different services. What we won't necessarily do is publicize that this band only sold X number of tickets or whatever, but by anonymizing that data to help people through it and understand, we can see that, okay, this town or city has this type of demand for this type of music.
Exactly. Yeah, because at the end, you use the data to fit your purpose as a platform.